My name is Professor Edward Kirumira. I'm the director for the Stellenbosch Institute for Advanced Study, commonly known as STIAS. I've been in this position since January 2019. It was quite a change. It was quite a significant transition in my life. Most of my life has to, sort of based at Makerere University, but mainly committed to serving, sort of the sub-Saharan African region. And so making this move was really a lot of soul searching. My coming to STIAS was actually premised on the assumption that the institute was strong enough to provide me and the team that I would be working with to provide us an opportunity of contributing and making an impact on the African continent. Strong enough to place us at equal footing with the rest of the world, and therefore be able to engage and contribute rather than necessarily to receive. My coming also was premised on the understanding or the conviction that here was a space that allows the people within it, both fellows and people working in, to work on what they want to do and to explore, to disrupt, to do all those kinds of things. That the kind of fellows that they were receiving here were at that level where they'd passed justifying themselves or doing these kinds of things. So I thought that this would present for me a space that would nurture, mentor, build the capacities of African scholars. And so it was exciting for me to know that there was an Isolomso program that wasn't structured so much along postdoc models, but was structured on a commitment, at least a medium-term commitment of working with the scholar to some level of confidence, of building their own community of scholars, and so that made it easier for me to accept. Although I knew that on the flip side, there could be very high expectations. And then what I did was to say, for the first year, I'm going to sacrifice my own personal research and scholarly work. So it was very useful for me that the beginning was also helped by the board members, the program committee members. The crop of fellows that I found here were very, very much engaged. And I think partly because there were some very engaged artists in residence that really spiced it up. That also made me think that, yes, we can have the top of the range scholars, but you need a bit of activity, you need a bit of excitement. And unfortunately, we as academic, grounded researchers are not very good at that. But the artists, be they, visual or performing, have a certain way of forcing you out of your shell. And so that has helped, the presence of just a limited number of artists in residence. The second thing that has helped is the presence of the young scholars, the early middle level career. There's something that they bring out of the senior scholars. The senior scholars all of a sudden begin to feel that they have a mission, they have a sense of purpose that goes beyond themselves. So the space now is slowly transforming from just being a space, a creative space for the mind, but also an impactful space. This whole thing about the African fireplace, it's a space that for sharing rather than for making yourself better or smarter or something like that. So it's been a very good experience for me to see that the assumptions that I had for taking up this position are things that we can actually realize and recognize them happening. For instance, space has been enriched by the presence of the Isolomso Fellows, but you found that I think before we're looking at them as fellows. We're not looking at them as young, middle-level career scholars. And there is a difference there, because for a fellow, you are providing them space to do what they're best at. As for early middle-level career scholar, you're nurturing. You are not necessarily mentoring directly, but providing a space that can mentor. So it's a mentoring space rather than a mentoring person. So if there are any things that I see in the year, is the dynamism that the space is actually acquiring. It's a space that you feel you are leaving. You don't feel that you're staying.